Hey, New Life, it's Pastor Steve on the Inner Circle. Hope you're having a great day. Just sitting out in the backyard. It's a beautiful day, a little hot, but I love the summertime. I want to kind of piggyback on Pastor's message from Sunday. He was talking about how Paul and Silas were in jail and in prison, and they started worshiping and singing, and in the midst of all, in the deepest part of the dungeon, they're in shackles and in chains. They start worshiping the Lord, and all of a sudden a great earthquake comes, the chains fall off, a miracle happens. And I was just thinking about other places in the Bible where certain things happened that were miraculous based on the presence of God showing up. And I want to talk to you I want to read to you from Joshua chapter 6. It's when they're marching around the walls of Jericho. If you don't know the story, go to Joshua 6 and read the whole thing. I'm just going to read a portion of it. Basically, the Lord gives Joshua a strategy. He says, I want you to take the Ark of the Covenant, which literally was the manifest presence of God for Israel. That went everywhere with them. They followed the ark everywhere the Lord told them to go. They camped around the ark. They basically, for 40 years in the desert, camped and marched around the presence of God. It was the center of their whole existence. And there is a lesson there, right there. If you want to get out of Egypt and the Egypt out of you, you got to park around the presence of God. But what God told Joshua to do was take the Ark of the Covenant, take some priests with some horns, and march around the city one time every day, not saying a word. Just follow the presence. Just let the presence go around. So I'm talking about Jericho was the thing that they needed to conquer. It was the city they were told to take. It was the mountain in front of them, so to speak. And the strategy was surround the problem with the presence. Just walk around the problem with the presence. You just focus on taking the presence with you around that problem. They did it every day for 6 days. On the seventh day, they did the same thing, but this time they went around the town 7 times. I don't know the significance of the numbers, but that's just what God told them to do. So I'm going to start reading to you Joshua 6, starting at verse 15. On the 7th day, the Israelites got up at dawn and marched around the town as they had done before. But this time they went around the town 7 times. The 7th time around, as the priests sounded the long blast on their horns, Joshua commanded the people to shout, for the Lord has given you the town. Jericho and everything in it must be completely destroyed as an offering to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and others in her house will be spared, for she protected our spies. And there's the story of Rahab who protected her spies. You'd have to read a couple chapters before. Do not take any of the things set apart for destruction, or you yourselves will be completely destroyed, and you will bring trouble on the camp of Israel. Everything made from silver, gold, bronze, or iron is sacred to the Lord and must be brought into his treasury. When the people heard the sound of the ram's horns, they shouted as loud as they could. Suddenly, the walls of Jericho collapsed, and the Israelites charged straight into the town and captured it. They completely destroyed everything within it with their swords. They basically, followed the commands of the Lord. Interesting that I just want to point out in the story, the strategy that God gave Joshua was, I want you to take and march around your problem with the presence of God. Don't do it on your own. Do it on your own strength. Take the presence of God with you around. And then when I tell you it's time, you give out the shout. You give out the shout of victory. And it says that the walls came down. And basically, think about it. If the Israelites were surrounding around the town, the walls came down flat and they rushed in from all sides. Basically, there was no place for Jericho to go. Now, these walls were big enough and thick enough for them to have chariot races on the top. So these were no small walls. They were big, they were thick, they were wide. They actually had chariot races on the top of the walls. There's something to be said about camping around the presence of God, about it being the center of your existence, and then not only that, not being the center of your spiritual existence, but taking it with you around your problems. The most practical way I can tell you to take the presence of God with you is you need to be in the flow of his presence on a daily basis. And the way we do that is we spend time in his word, we spend time in prayer, but we also spend time in worship. get out your CDs or your downloads, whatever you use to listen to worship music these days, whether it's your phone or your stereo, whatever. Sit in his presence. Yeah, I mean, and don't just sit and let your mind wander, but intentionally focus on the Lord, giving him praises, worshiping, saying, Father, I love you. I give you praises. I'm lavishing all my attention on you. And then when you're facing problems, steal away, do the same thing. Take the presence with you around the problem. Just circle it. All the time with taking his presence with you. And then when the Lord says it's time, you do the shout. You do whatever he tells you to do, and you'll see the miracle happen. Don't try to do these things on your own. Don't try to take on the problem without the Lord going with you. I mean, we should. I'm guilty of this, but we should not even leave our house without being aware of the presence of God going out with us, coming back in with us. That was the lifestyle of the Israelites in the desert for 40 years. They literally camped around the presence. They did not move a muscle unless God moved first. When God said camp, they camped. When the pillar, the cloud by day and the pillar by night, was stationary, they camped. And when it moved, they broke camp. Didn't matter what time of day or night it was, they broke camp and they started marching. And the secret to seeing miracles and the miraculous happen is entering his domain and not asking him as much to enter your domain. He's going to go wherever he wants to go, but we got to basically enter his domain. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys. We had a really great service on Sunday. I'm just really excited about where we are as a church, what we're doing as a church. I'm excited about this Pray South Jersey event coming up in September. I believe it really has the potential to break things wide open for our area, South Jersey area, and for our church. So be praying about that. Also, the last Tuesday of August, I'm going to let you guys know in advance, we're doing a worship and intercession night. I do it once a month with the worship and intercession team. I would like to invite you guys out. It starts at 7:30. I'm just going to see what the date is real quick because I don't have it memorized. Sorry, hold on. Month and August. It's the 25th, August 25th, Tuesday, August 25th at 7:30. You can come earlier than that. The doors will be open at 7 o'clock, but we take about a half hour to get our gear set up and sound check before we start. You guys have a great Wednesday, have a great week, and I'll see you in church on Sunday.